And if I look over here, it's the other way. So I guess I've got to look this way if I'm.
Yeah. I'm on your left. Is that your left? Your left shoulder screwed up.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good way to remember it. Okay, according to that, I'm live. Let's just make sure.
Lean into the pain of this show. Waiting for us to go live, and we are live. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I've got the sound off. That's
okay.
Good. Okay.
Hey
guys.
If I put it over this way.
And let me just say, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. I got a little whiskey
Good
here.
to see you.
Just thought I wasn't going to drink tonight, but without.
Yeah, well, great to see. We've got so many people already rocking in here. We've got Believe in Yourself.
Can you bounce a quarter off of it?
Some Canadian thing, I think. I don't know. It's pretty cold up there.
Okay.
Watch me live stuff.
Oh, the snow maybe.
PB could be it. It could be the snow.
Peanut butter.
It's just perception. Tomoko, great to see you. Wow, we've got the whole gang of it in here. We've got who else we got in here?
Yeah.
Ninjaroo 88. G'day, mates. Indeed, good to see you. Good night. G'day. Good morning. How's it going? How's it been with you, man? Been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time. When was our last live show? Must have been. I think that was the last time I was on YouTube. Maybe.
Yeah, it's probably about 2 months ago.
2 or 3 months ago. Was it after America?
So I think we did one after America.
After my America and your America.
Yes, that's right. You just got back from Florida.
So it must have been August. Yeah, okay, not that long.
Yeah.
DJ Sunny's back to Dom.
DJ Sunny's indeed.
Okay, so it has been a while. I'll give you a quick summary.
Yep.
Of all the nasties. So Yoko, my wife, had a big operation. But she's fine. She's all recovered. We won't get into the details because it's nobody's business. Okay. But what is a month later? Just a month after. In fact, a month to the day. 2 months to the day after her operation, when she's just getting over it, her brother passed away suddenly. He had his heart blew up basically in a convenience store parking lot.
Jeez.
Yeah, and he was 50 years old. He has 2 kids, so it was quite the shock. And it pretty much it was a big punch to the whole family because he was my kids. He used to bathe my kids, and he was a great guy. And the funeral was just amazing, as in so many people came.
Yeah,
he was so amazingly loved. If it weren't my brother-in-law, I would be making jokes right now, like, "Oh, I'm jealous," but but it really was not. It's not a laughing matter at all. But anyway, But I am surprised. You've been to funerals before?
You know what? In my life, I've been to about 2.
Oh, really?
Not
You're
me,
lucky.
which
Well, wait till you get to be my age, man. You'll be like, "Oh, who's dying this week?"
Yeah.
No, I've been to quite a few. Gaijin as well. Quite a few Gaijin have died in Japan that I've known.
Yeah.
In fact, my best friend died in Japan.
Right.
About 15 years ago. But those are not really Japanese funerals. So the Japanese funerals are very different. Yeah. And I'm going to make a whole video. I just haven't gotten around. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. But there's the whole cremation thing and picking up the bones. But what I was amazed at, and I will say that, which is wonderful, is that they put out the body, and everyone could see the body, and people touch the body. People praying from the body, and people like slapping him, and not out of anger, like, "Oh, you son of a, you owe me money." No, people were pinching him and kissing him on the forehead and cheek,
wow.
And holding his hand, and they have the body like sitting on dry ice for a couple of days before they.
Oh shit! There was that story like about 2 weeks ago in the news about at a funeral they were using dry ice, and a woman who bent over to get close to the body had too much dry ice in it, and she died from the dry ice in the casket.
Kidding?
Yeah. So be careful with the dried ice.
But the dry ice was on the body before they was in the casket.
Yeah. It was the carbon dioxide or whatever it is. It was the poisoning from that killed the person who bent over.
But it was kind of nice to see how everyone was so open about death. And my kids who have never experienced human death before,
Mm.
they were very curious about it. And the mother, his wife, I shouldn't say the mother of the kids, his wife was very friendly, like, oh, can I touch him? And look, he's there. You could look, this is what happens when you die. And they were using it as a huge like teaching moment to teach kids death.
Yeah.
Which I thought was very healthy.
It's a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
and of course the other thing is
happened, but
I don't know what people think we're going to think about this in the comments, but a lot of people in Japan are completely believe that you can see the ghosts and the spirit of someone after they've died and they're hanging around. And my son, who he claims he saw my brother-in-law and my wife, and everyone believes in it, and everyone was very happy to hear that.
Yeah.
So I don't know, that's
one of those things. One of the things about ghosts is that it's kind of funny. Even like all around the world, they go into like undiscovered tribes in the Amazon, and they have ghosts. Like it's one of those things, sort of universally about humankind. On the one hand, you could say, oh, it's superstition or whatever, but it's superstition. The same superstition is developed independently amongst every corner of isolated corner of humanity.
You're right.
So it's one of those sorts of things as well. That's
I've had my own youthful ghost experience that. Well, but this is not 2.5 topic. But I will.
We're not there yet.
We're not going to die yet.
2.5 Ghostbusters.
But Carlos Tarikas does mention the film Departures, which I never saw, but I heard is critically acclaimed. You ever seen it?
I haven't seen it.
Won a lot of awards,
Yeah.
Anyway, hey, Redman in Japan's here too. So listen, we got a big list of things we're going to trying to get through today, because to give you your money's worth.
Yeah,
you guys paid good money for this.
All the bills.
And we don't do nudity, so.
Well, we work the poll, but yeah.
So I'm going to give you some topics and see if you know. It's maybe I already told you what some of these are, but maybe you do or do not know about some of these things. Did you hear about the new finding last Monday? I'm sorry, this past Monday, the Ministry of Health and Labor and Welfare in Japan proposed new guidelines for physical activity. This is the first time they've updated it in I think a couple decades, a decade at least. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
In a decade. So do you know what those updates are?
I assumed that they were just like updating the music for Radio Taiso to "You Can't Touch This" or something.
No, but I'm surprised that my daughter goes to dance class and they use a lot of dirty rap music. Nobody seems to care.
Well, that's what I need.
Eminem stuff.
Yeah.
No, well, for the first time in a decade, first of all, in the old days, they used to say you need 30 minutes of daily walking for adults, But now they've updated to 60 minutes. And that doesn't mean you're supposed to go out and walk for an hour. It means your total steps. So basically 8,000 steps or something.
Okay. So Fitbits for everyone.
They're doubling that. And the other one is, for the first time in history, they've added resistance training.
Yeah.
Which means they want you to go out to the gym
Fight the power.
Go out to the gym 3 times a week and put on some muscle, because they believe that putting on muscle mass will help you live longer. And Japanese already have the longest lifespan, so I think we're looking at a new generation. And in the future, there'll be like 200-year-old Japanese.
So that means that you're doing it right, and I'm doing it kind of quasi right or wrong. I run.
You do a lot of cardio.
I do a lot of cardio. I'm wearing out my heart, basically. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Whereas you're doing what's recommended. You're doing like muscle training.
I'm putting on muscle mass, and
what people say.
The more muscle mass, it has to be dense muscle mass, not just fat. Like putting on a lot of body weight doesn't help.
Yeah.
You've got to have dense muscle mass. And I've just I'll tell you one thing. One of my students is a professor of sports science. Actually, two of my students are. I have 2 private students who are professors at different universities, just by chance.
Yeah.
And in fact, one student was the student of the other professor, and then he became a professor too. But anyway, thanks to them, I learned a lot about putting on muscle. And your chances of surviving cancer are also much higher if you have more dense muscle mass, as opposed to being a skinny motherfucker like you.
Well, I'm not, I'm not that skinny, but
you're pretty skinny.
I was
pretty skinny.
Metable for like 20 years,
Oh,
so
really?
you know,
Oh, so you could.
I'm out of that. I'm
But
no longer
you've
Metable.
got good muscle. You've got dense muscle though.
I do actually. I've got
Yeah.
a genetic predisposition to having dense muscle mass, so that's probably a good thing.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Good.
I did those DNA, I did those Ancestry and 23andMe. They lost all my personal data, it looks like, but
Really?
yeah, I did those, and they have to do a full health DNA profile, and
Uh-huh.
apparently I've got pretty unremarkable DNA. Other than I'm predisposed to having like if I wanted to be an athlete, apparently I could be. Like I've got like
Oh,
dense muscle genes, so
really
that's a good
quickly.
thing.
What are you running these days?
I mean, honestly, I got sick like a week and a half ago, and I just stopped exercising during that. When you got a fever and a cold, like you don't want to run. So I've just started getting back in. But I don't know. I run about 3 days a week, 6 to 10K.
3 times a week.
Yeah, 3 times a week. Like once
Okay.
every
Good.
2 or 3 days. I won't run consecutive days because I've had horrible injuries when I've run consecutive days.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
let me give you a body a recovery day
And
and
you
just
also do kickboxing, right?
like I haven't because I messed up my shoulder, so I can't. I've stopped that for about 2 or 3
Do
months
they know
now.
about this?
At my gym, yeah, I actually went back there the
No,
other
no, the
day.
people watching this program right now.
I think people who watch 2.5 Oyajis, I mentioned I've hurt my shoulder. I actually think I really messed it up probably throwing hooks. I can't hook. I
And
can't get
it
my
wasn't a sexually induced injury. It was.
no, not this time, no. Uh,
How did you
how do you
actually?
throw out your shoulder sexually? I mean,
Hey,
I wonder
my dad was a doctor, and he did a stint at an emergency room, and you would be amazed at the amount of things that accidentally get slipped up your rectum when you're. Yeah.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
sir, he's removed so many incredible things.
Again, the shoulder injury wasn't rectally caused, so there's that going
That's
for
good.
me.
That's good.
Uh, but
How did you do
yeah,
it? With kickboxing?
I think I did multiple dumb things to it, but yeah, one
I
of
hurt
them
my
was
shoulder just putting on my shoes. So that's what happens when you get to be this
yeah,
age.
it was sore for a long time, and I was
Oh,
aggravating it. I was still going out kickboxing when it was injured, and that made it
no, but how
worse.
did you hurt? What was the initial injury?
Well, the original one was just trying to scratch my back. I was trying to scratch my back, and I felt it snap. And I didn't do anything about it for a few months. And then when I was out hiking in America, I slipped really badly, and I fell like down a ravine while I was like hiking.
Oh,
There was another one. Then when I got back at the airport, lifting up a suitcase, like over a heavy suitcase, I felt it snap again. And then I still went and did kickboxing after that, which I've been doing the whole time. And then at kickboxing, I threw a hook and I felt it snap again, and it
so
got
it's a
worse and
combination
worse.
of many
Yeah, I've
things.
just basically been ignoring it and making it worse over a long period of time. And the doctors have told me it's all kind of fused together and is a mess. And I should have got it looked at like the first time I did something to it, but I left it for nearly a year. So now it's in a really bad way. But getting it fixed. So
So
2.5
you have
buff
hope.
Oyajis.
Okay.
Not quite. Yeah, 2.5 injured and old
Well, I
Oyajis.
would say that you can do a combination of cardio and
Oh, that's what
you
you
know
should do. And weights.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
I
should be
mean,
doing.
I do a lot of walking, tons of walking, and I run a little bit too mostly on the treadmill. But I
Mm,
do bicycling every day, like 40 minutes to work and 40 minutes back. So that's quite a bit of bicycling.
yeah.
Over an hour easily a day.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
sometimes
you're
that don't
like
happen.
Kenko Shindan wise, you're hitting all your
Oh
numbers?
no, I'm obese.
Yeah.
No. You know Kenkoshinan in Japan, man.
Yeah, that's
Japanese
tough.
doctors want you to be so skinny. If you are just a little bit overweight, oh, you're dangerously obese. So.
Well, that's where I was. So, and even though I got my weight like down below the target, I still have the waist circumference was 2 centimeters over this time as well. So I still
Oh,
failed
really?
it.
My weight. Here's something good. I've been doing weights and stuff, and my weight has not changed. But
Yeah.
now, Aaron is unhappy with this conversation. My weight has not changed, but my belt size is slowly getting smaller.
Well, that's good. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
that's what I'm failing at.
but my weight belt that I bought 20 years ago, I have this huge leather weight belt.
Yeah.
I'm like that doesn't fit me anymore. So I was much skinnier. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I'm sorry. Too much talking about our bodies. Yeah. Let me get to it. Let me show you guys some other things that we have planned for you here.
Yeah.
I quick question. I looked this up, and this is stupid, but since it's Christmas, I thought we should talk
Perfect.
about this.
Yes. Let's talk about it. Sounds
The most
important.
popular Christmas gifts this year for adults apparently are all jewelry
Wait a
related.
minute. The most popular adult Christmas presents, did you say?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, well, non-sexual related Christmas
Oh,
gifts this
okay.
year are
Well,
just like
I'm sure your dad would say from the emergency
necklaces.
room, anything's possible, but yeah.
Oh yeah, you can regift some of those things. But, just jewelry. There's nothing really special this year. It's jewelry and
Yeah.
jewelry. That's it. Like earrings and necklaces and crap like that.
I
I
don't know.
didn't
What are you
see any.
supposed to give someone? ChatGPT? I don't understand. There's nothing really. Why can't people be materialistic about stuff so much anymore? Things
I
are so
give
much
my
easier that way.
in-laws gift cards for Uniqlo, like Ichiman
Oh yeah,
each,
yeah.
because they're quite happy to buy their own stuff.
Uniqlo is awesome. Yeah,
Yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah.
yeah.
So anyway, so here's something I think that's a little bit sad. This year, Shibuya banned Hollywood, like the Halloween,
Yeah.
and so for the first time in a long time, I think Christmas will be more economically important to Japan than Halloween. Because last year, Halloween, more people spent money on Halloween than Christmas for the first time ever.
Well, I mean, this year was kind of the year of the big backlash against Halloween. There was that Shibuya trying to ban it and everything. So,
And as a result of Shibuya banning it, Nagoya also banned it.
yeah.
So
Oh, Nagoya banned it as well.
yeah,
Okay.
because of Shibuya, and I was like, what the fuck,
Yeah.
So I have high school students who are asking me about that,
Yeah.
and they all have their own different parties. They had to go to parks and stuff, but the huge party that they usually have was banned. So
I mean, I never would have guessed that sexy Santa costumes could generate so much of the GDP. I mean,
they make a lot of money in the past.
yeah, it seems that they do.
Yeah. So speaking of Christmas, in Japan we have something called illumination, which
Yes,
is Christmas lights, but they call it illumination. That's right. It's called illumination?
illumination. That's right.
Right. And after 2011, do you remember the earthquake? The
I
of course
recall
you
there was an
remember
earthquake. Yes.
the Tohoku earthquake in 2011.
Yeah.
After that, Nagoya used to have at Nagoya Station, we used to have a huge, like they would decorate all the buildings with Christmas lights, and from far away you could actually see every building had a different Christmas ornament, like created out of lights on the side of these huge buildings, and these are huge skyscrapers. But after that, they just stopped doing it, and it looks
Yeah.
like they never came back. What about Tokyo? That's my question for you.
Oh yeah, they've come back in Tokyo. There's lots of it definitely for a number of years it was sort of they still did the old jishiku. They did the out of like a hanami and everything. They said, hey, let's tone it down because there are still people
Yeah.
who are
Don't have
living
fun.
in.
People died.
Yeah, so there was that for a while, and then with the pandemic, of course, they also tried to tone down public events. But no, it's definitely back now. There are places around Tokyo all lit up and everything. So I don't go out to any of them, but they're there. So yeah.
Well, on a side note, but connected to the previous conversation about my wife's brother's death. For those of you who don't know, instead of Christmas cards in Japan, we have New Year's postcards.
Yeah. Right.
And
Nengajo.
Nengajo, yes. And if you have a death in the family, you cannot receive or send out Nengajo or the New Year's cards. So I think that might be connected a little bit with the Japan's attitude towards not celebrating, the not Illuminati. Someone wrote
Illuminati. Yeah.
Illuminati there. Illumination lights, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's connected to that. So people don't want to see, hey, and I asked my in-laws if they want to go anywhere for Christmas, because last year I took them to Okinawa.
Oh yeah.
Because we couldn't go anywhere because of COVID. And this year, maybe we should go anywhere because because he died.
You get that in Japan, and that lasts for like a year, doesn't it? In Japan, where you're supposed to.
Yeah,
That's right. You're not supposed to send nengajo to people who have had someone in the family die for a year.
Yeah.
We'll send around a note to everybody saying, "Don't send us."
Right. They send out, which is weird. Right? They contact you to tell you not to contact them.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Oh, so here's another question for you, because you are in business, and I am not. I'm in education, but I do keep up with education.
Yep.
and I want to know what AI, how people are dealing with AI in the business world right now, because as you know, everyone's using it all over the world. What about in business?
Well, I mean, so it's kind of funny. Although I don't specifically ever identify a job I'm currently in, what I could say is that my current job is very much like my last job. And my last job was I was a lawyer at a big IT company. Um, so from that perspective, my job is kind of selling the technology right now, or at least I'm on the legal side of it. So in a way, I'm in a place like if nowhere else was using it, we'd be using it. So I'm kind of curious more from your side, like as a teacher, have you ever used ChatGPT for like work or anything like that?
Oh, it's amazing. It's an easy way to. You can't make a lesson from GTP unless you edit it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I
hold on.
used ChatGPT when I was in America and I was going to my Spanish practice and whatever. I would go and say, "Hey, generated a
Hola, ¿cómo
conversation."
estás? Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
generate a conversation in English and Spanish, like back and forth that I can like read over and I could say, hey, I want to have a what I could say, script a conversation between two people, and I'd give all the facts about my
Mm,
life that I might say in a
mm,
in a conversation when I'm meeting somebody. Hey, I'm from New Zealand. I live in Japan. I'm here to
right.
work for a few months. Put all this into a Spanish conversation, and I could read it on the way to the Spanish practice, and then go try it. It was awesome. So
You
yeah,
went to Spanish practice in America?
yeah, I'd go every week. I'd go to there's some
This
Spanish exchanges, which are
must be
pretty cool.
pretty easy because like so many Spanish speakers, are all
Although
over the place.
Seattle, yeah, there are, but Seattle probably, as things go in America, probably is one of the lower percentages. But there is even there, of course, a big Spanish speaking community. So yeah, it was great. I could speak with proper native
Well,
speakers.
I did some quick research about this and I listened to a lot of podcasts
Yeah,
on, especially from I told you the Freakonomics radio network, and they were
yeah,
talking about how AI was banned in New York City completely for
okay,
high school. I'm sorry, for high school.
yeah, yeah,
And one of the writers from the one of the members of the Freakonomics podcast, one of the contributors said she wrote a editorial. And she said she thought that was a bad idea because basically, I'll sum it up really quick. And I know that's you're going to find this amazing that I can sum up anything, but because I
no,
talk so much, uh, the point is this: the
mm,
future will not be ruled by AI. The future will be ruled by the people who know how to use AI. So by banning AI, you're basically taking away a great opportunity uh, to learn how to use AI. Because if they don't know how to fucking use it,
yeah.
they're gonna be at a disadvantage, and I agree with that. And I've told my students this, but nobody seems to be interested in it at all.
Well, it's funny. No, none of your students are interested in it. Like I got the
Nobody's interested.
impression there's like a big public kind of interest in it in Japan.
I
Although,
think it's minor. I think it's on YouTube. Like people on YouTube seem to be interested. There's
yeah.
videos about it, but very few people are actually using it,
I mean, it's
which I
not very
find
good
amazing.
at the moment. It's not very good at Japanese, which is a problem. So they're sort of missing out a little bit in that regard. But I'm with you. I agree. I think it's going to be a super useful tool that is something everybody should be good at using. But at the same time, what everyone's afraid of is that it's going to be replacing people.
Right. So in May they did a poll and they asked Japanese business people, office workers, if they were using it. 61%. This is May, so it's probably changed by now.
Yeah.
61% that said they have used it.
Mm.
31% said they have only used it at work. Only 31% of those people used it at work, and most people said they're afraid it's going to replace their jobs.
I think if you understand how it really works, which I won't go into on this, but if you ever look into it, and there's a really great video I watched yesterday by one of the best AI scientists in the world, but he's really
Oh,
good at explaining it in a really
oh, please
interesting.
tell us. Yeah,
Is
I want to see.
Andres Karpathy. He's got a like a 1 hour introduction to LLMs that's in a way that seriously like a junior like an elementary school kid could understand. And he's one of the best AI computer scientists in the world.
Mhm.
And this guy, watch his video, introduction to
I
LLM.
just
If you watch
um
it, you'll understand it's not going to take over people's jobs. It's super interesting, super useful, but it's got a whole bunch of really serious limitations that will mean it won't be able to do that. So yeah.
So I just a minute. Sorry.
I think we do have topic requests here. I saw Erin request earlier. She wants us to have grumpy rants. So I think we should veer from the optimistic AI future into the dystopian world that
before
we're in
we get
today.
off that AI guy, that Andre
Karpathy.
I just checked his yeah, I just checked his Tinder. And his Tinder introduction is, I'd like to train deep neural nets on large database sets.
Man, he must get all the girls with that.
My God, that is pretty sexy. I'd like to train deep neural nets on large data sets.
It's not
sexual. I think he's
victory.
bragging. I think he's bragging about something.
I mean, well, I don't know. This is like if you could talk to like Bill Gates back when he was like inventing Windows. I'm pretty sure he wasn't popular with the ladies then, but if anyone knew what he was bound for, then you know they would have been the smart ones. That's right.
People would have waited. No, well, anyway, I just wanted to know if it was being banned or if you know anything about that. But I guess it's not, right? Oh, Aaron, okay. New in streamers. Okay, so everyone knows Johnny Somali. We're going to jump to that. That's actually number 9. No, that number 10. Oh my, no, what are the ones? Oh, number 7. So it's number 7 on my list.
One of them that's there, but yeah. Anyway, this is the video, by the way.
So there's 2 guys. There's a guy named Johnny Somali and a guy named Phidias. Do you know about that? Of course, you know. You must.
I've been keeping up with all of them. Yeah, the Cyprus guy is Phidias, and Johnny Somali is
right? Yes,
a douchebag from America.
So, you know, I don't think it affects us YouTubers too much because you know we have common sense. But I think they should go to jail. And but I at the same time, I think everyone's like, what is that? What is that? I'm sorry. What is that? Excuse me for the burps. What is that German Schadenfreude expression when
Schadenfreude? Yeah.
Schadenfreude. So I think the Schadenfreude for Johnny Somali is just too much. Yeah. He's basically an idiot, you know, and he has no shame. And
he's more than an idiot. He is a bad person who's done bad things.
Yes.
But I don't think people quite appreciate just how up the ass he's getting it. You know, like from the justice system here, it really is pretty awful. Like literally not wish on your worst enemy. And the amount of, as you say, people parading around enjoying the fact he's being
everyone's so happy he's
being put in jail for like a year. He's going through absolute hell, and while he deserves every bad thing that he brought upon himself to some extent, I don't think people really realize just how tough the justice system here is. Well, I do actually legit feel sorry for the guy. Not enough that I don't think, I think he needs to face the consequences of all the stuff he did. But man, it's what I always say. Like, if you want to go do that shit, don't do it in Japan. Like Japan will give you all this rope to hang yourself. They'll let you get away with a lot, right? The police are they'll give you a wide berth in Japan, but when they decide it's time to bring you in, you're just screwed, right? You've got no idea how screwed you are. You don't have like 1% of the rights that you have in a
One of my students was a prison guard. And he told me a little bit. I'm sure you've seen documentaries on this, but yeah, prison is tough, man. Like you have to sit Seiza style or something in a room by yourself. You're never gonna get raped, which is a good thing, I guess.
But remember, he's not in prison yet. He's still in pre-trial detention, which is police detention. And when you're in police detention, that's arguably worse than prison. So he's been through 2 phases. He's been through interrogation, which he was under interrogation.
A Gaijin woman died last year.
That was immigration detention. That was another thing as well. That's going to be his final. That's different. That's the final stage for him. So he's probably going to go through 3-4 phases. First, he's going to get detained and interrogated by the police, which he was rearrested multiple times. So that went on for nearly 2 months of just being interrogated nonstop by the police. Then you're detained in jail awaiting trial, and that'll probably, in his case, take between 3 and 12 months waiting for trial. That's where Gon was in pre-trial detention when he ran away. Then you get,
but he had home.
Well, after like about a year of waiting for trial, he was able to argue to be moved for home arrest. So he had it. Nobody gets home detention, by the way. So Gon had it as good as anybody possibly gets it, and he still complains that he's the biggest human rights victim ever in the history of Japan. No, normal human rights victims can't afford to pay the A-team to fly you out in a bassoon case, but, that was the second phase. Third phase is prison, where he could face up to 3 years for interfering with the operation of a business, and then after that, he's almost certainly gonna get moved into immigration detention awaiting deportation. And immigration detention is where people regularly die. It's that is the absolute,
Oh
like,
yeah, yeah. They get their shit beat out of them.
but the thing is the police interrogation thing, I mean, just that. In America, if you're detained, you have the right to remain silent. You have to have a lawyer present when you're speaking and so on. They
Right.
can only
Yeah.
detain you for 3 days and they have to charge you or let you go. All these police dramas centered around this sort of procedure. We have to charge him or let him go, or we don't have enough evidence or whatever. In Japan, they can just hold you for like, like
I
what
think
is
it's
it,
something
20, 20
8 days or
days? Like
21
basically a
days.
month,
Yeah,
basically up to a month.
and they can extend it too after
And
that
then,
time.
well, then what they'll do is, and they're just holding you to try to make you confess, so they don't have to do any police work.
Mm.
And then and then basically at the end of that period, they'll just arrest you with the second charge. And on Somali, he videoed himself doing like 100 different crimes, so they just decided to rearrest him one by one. And they decided
Jesus.
after 2.5 months of detaining, and when they're detaining him, again globally, like the people who look after the welfare of the prisoner, who are responsible for the welfare of the prisoner, have to be separate from the interrogators, right? So in Japan, though, the interrogators are responsible for the welfare of the prisoners. So they control their sleep, their food, including withholding their food and withholding their sleep and waking them up in the middle of the
Yeah,
night.
yeah, yeah.
You have no right to a lawyer, no
It's
right to
basically
silence.
torture. Yeah.
You're basically at the mercy of the people detaining you. They can cut you off from your family. They can deny you the ability to communicate with anybody. They do this for 2.5 months. They decided after 2.5 months to let his friend, the video guy, the camera guy,
Yeah,
go.
the other guy.
They let him go, and they decided to charge Johnny Somali with just one count of like interfering with the operation of a restaurant. But now he's just now gone into the phase of waiting for trial. It's going to take up to a year, where he's going to go into like police jail, and then prison. I mean, almost certainly. So
I feel like it's
he's
a
so
waste of.
screwed.
Yeah, I feel like it's. I would say it's. I feel it's a waste of police resources, but police are pretty much free. They're not too busy.
They're not busy. Well, this is just it. They don't bother like arresting you unless they're like 100%
Yeah.
sure that they're gonna get you, and that includes even if you didn't do it. So this is it. If they'll let people get away with a lot, like just like Johnny Somali thought he could get away with a lot, but he ended up when they decide to get you, you're done. No, people don't get out of that, even when they're innocent. So yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't. You're right. That the amount of the people have been like celebrating, like dancing on his grave. I mean, I didn't like the guy, but he literally was like,
Yeah.
it's
That's
kind of
just.
ghoulish the way people are like
Yeah.
celebrating it.
Yeah.
Do you see the video
And,
where he got knocked out?
yeah, it was on Yahoo News. Even I saw it
Well,
first, and then it was on Yahoo News
people
like a
people
couple
made
days
like
later.
loops, like GIF loops of
Yeah.
him getting knocked out over and over and over, and everyone was like enjoying, and again, he deserved it. He was, I mean, he brought it on himself. He was like
Yeah.
attacking people. He was provoking people. He was waiting for someone to do that to him. But to have that and then get arrested and then go through the full. But when they had him on TV, like being driven into questioning by the
I
police,
saw that. Yeah.
he's still smiling to the
And
cameras. I don't know if I respect him, or like if there's something like wrong with him that he
but
enjoys
I
that.
gotta say that I think part of this is a result of Trump becoming president in an indirect way, because I think
Trump,
the
not
shamelessness
not
of
Obama. This not Obama.
no, well, Obama led to Trump. No, but Obama. Well, that's a long conversation. But Obama led to Trump, and Trump's shamelessness it makes people think that you can just use being an asshole as a kind of weapon to further your life and give you power, which is I think what he was trying to do. I
Yeah,
mean,
there's something there
in
in that.
a money way, just not really power, but getting money. He just
I
thought, oh,
mean,
this I can be a dick and I can make money.
there is a media and YouTuber culture promoting shamelessness. Certainly, that seems to be something
Yeah,
that's always been there. I don't think Trump invented that, but I think
yeah.
you're right that there seems to be a trend where like being
By
completely sociopathic.
comparison,
Yeah.
Logan Paul is nothing.
Well, he's almost become respectable, hasn't he?
Yeah. So someone Seb asked in 2305 down in the
Oh,
comments. Remember Logan Paul? When that came out, that was a big scandal. But now to be honest, I think he was just walking in the forest and he came across a dead body. you know, and he decided to film it and they put it on camera.
Yeah.
But comparatively, you know, that's not nearly as bad as provoking people to be a dick.
Well, that's just it. I mean, he's just literally going around attacking people.
Yeah,
Like again, it
yeah.
was the prank thing, which you know the others, the Cypriot guy as well was that was also super obnoxious. But yeah, just antisocial behavior and doing it. I mean, but one thing is, so these guys were streaming on Kick, right? They weren't even like on Twitch or YouTube.
Was it
They
was it Kick? I thought it was Twitch. It was Kick.
It's
Okay.
Kick. They were literally, so Kick is like I mean my line on that is it seems to be the streaming service for people that want to be kicked. You know, that have literally been kicked off every other service
Right.
for breaking
Okay.
TOS. So they're sort of going for that, but
Mm.
yeah. Uh,
Well,
and
well,
all the people who wanted to pay to watch Logan get hit in the face. It turned out he was quite good at it.
yeah, he's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Mm. Now
Alright.
there's
Are
a
these
there's
people
a story.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
There's a story you told me about. We have a lot of topics for you guys. So there's a story
Yeah.
you told me about that I'd forgotten about. It's Nihon University. I knew
Yeah.
they had found Nihon University. Is first of all, are they like a premium university? Are they like a Harvard? What are
They're not like a top tier, but they're a famous university. So I think
they?
they're
Okay,
relative. I think they're a private university rather than like a public one. But so you know,
okay.
rich kids can get into it. But it's pretty well known, and their American football team is like Japan champion multiple
Yeah,
times.
they've won
So
like 19 times or 21 times. I forgot what it was, but I read up a little bit about them. But I read a couple weeks ago. Now I'm drinking whiskey. I'm drinking whiskey.
mm,
Aaron, I'm drinking a Hibiki today. All right. I got a toothache, but
yeah,
it's feeling better. But I forgot it's feeling better. So I want to keep it, you know, the pain down. So anyway, I heard one player got caught with a tiny bit of marijuana in his bag or something, and he was arrested.
mm.
And that's the last I heard of it. And then today you told me that they're disbanding the whole football club. So I don't know about this story. You're gonna have to tell me about this.
Well, yeah. So over the last 2 or 3 years, you know what? It actually goes back. You know how when the media in Japan decides to focus in on someone like a politician, they decide that this
Right?
person and they focus in on them. All the weeklies, all the tabloid journalists, they all dig in until they find more and more dirt. You know, this didn't start with the wacky tobacco. This started where there was like a famous American football final where the Nihon University had like a dirty player that like did
2018.
something like that. That's right.
It
And
was
he did a cheap
2018.
shot. Like after the
I did
play,
remember that because I
he
want to
did
look
like
it
a
up
cheap
later.
shot, and everybody thought, you know, it was just a dirty play. You know, it was just an unsportsmanlike, you know, dirty play. And there was a sort of national outrage that this player got, you know, shouldn't he have been charged with assault or something like that. It was just a cheap shot that he took in a football game. And so the whole nation of Japan started like condemning the Nihon University American football team. And in all the digging around, when they found that one of the students had something like 0.02 grams, I mean, literally like some residue ash from one person smoking like half a joint or something like that, you know, that they found,
Mm.
they you know, marijuana discovered in Japan, you know, at the scandalous university team. It
It's so
became this
funny.
huge thing. And then,
Yeah.
you know, like months later, and the police, you know, they went full Johnny Somali on the player who got arrested, and they were like, you know, lead us to Mr. Big, you know, where's Mr. Escobar? You know, you give us all the contacts.
Right. Right.
Uh, and they started ratting out the other players, and it became like the police went and like raided the entire Nihon University dorm, searching
Jesus.
every room, and they found like trace amounts of marijuana in another room. And there was a second arrest, and just a few days ago, actually, it's kind of funny. The story then continues about like 5 days ago. The Nihon University American football coach actually filed a lawsuit against the university saying that they were trying to bully him out of the university as retribution for his team having all these potheads and dirty players.
Mm.
And then, like the day after he filed this lawsuit against the university, police arrested a third player for weed. Like, and this is all spread over about 5 years. And so after that, Nihon University said that okay, they're disbanding the American football team as punishment for a third player being discovered with trace amounts of marijuana.
Jesus.
Although, you know, I suppose you could say that they've lost an American football team, but gained possibly like 3 or 4 mediocre reggae bands out of this. I don't know. It seems to be it seems to me
Well,
that maybe
well,
they've got other talents.
what's amazing is that I think what's amazing to people who do not live in Japan is that they don't understand how Japanese view marijuana, because most Japanese basically equate marijuana with cocaine and heroin. They think
Crack.
it's
Yeah.
all the same for the Japanese. They don't think there's any difference.
There was literally a story I almost tweeted today on uh on one of those internet like gathering sites where there are people commenting on the news. So they actually interviewed an anonymous player from Nihon University who said that he had taken marijuana gummies. You know, you get little sweets versions of
Yeah.
marijuana, and that he
Edibles.
had
They're called edibles.
edibles. He claimed that he had become addicted to edibles. That he had become addicted to marijuana. And all the internet commenters saying, all these foreigners saying that marijuana isn't addictive. Look at this guy from Nihon University claiming to be addicted to edibles. You know, so this is your proof that all those Westerners are wrong. I mean, they're literally going full reefer madness over this. And you know, so yeah, there's complete hysteria about it. But it's Japan, right? It's not quite.
Me.
Yeah, it's not getting shot. Yeah.
Say again.
Yeah, you know, in Southeast Asia, you can still get shot for having marijuana. It's not.
Thailand. Well,
Thailand legalized it recently,
but until then, it was you could
be shot
life
for
in
it.
prison. Yeah,
yeah, they swung broadly on that, but yeah.
Here's another weird thing about Japan, and this was in the news. I heard it on a podcast, but I don't remember which one. It must have been a Japan-related podcast, but about 2 weeks ago. But in Japan, you can buy synthetic marijuana that has not been labeled as illegal yet. So what they do is some scientist, I don't know, some pothead who knows a little bit of science, he'll figure out some chemical combination that's very similar to what's the thing in marijuana?
THC.
THC, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't smoke marijuana, so
yeah.
Anyway, I should know that, but anyway, it's similar to THC, but it's not THC technically.
Yeah.
And there was some foreigner actually was going around Tokyo giving out gummy bears of this stuff that had a little bit in it, but it wasn't illegal, so he was safe, right? Technically, right? Anyway, I remember now when I went to Tokyo for one of our YouTube gatherings, which we have to talk about whether we're going to have one of those again. But I remember years ago, one of the YouTube people, I don't even remember who it was. I honestly do not. Said, "Oh, I got to show you. This could be a really cool video." And he took me around to some Tokyo marijuana stores that sell chemical imitations of marijuana, basically.
Yeah, Dappo, they call them Dappo drug. They're drugs that circumvent the laws because drug laws specify exactly the chemicals that are illegal, and you can. So if they're synthetic,
I've forgotten the name. Yeah.
Dappo. They call it Dappo herbs. Yeah.
And people are putting them into gummy bears now in Japan.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what he was talking about.
Although CBD is legal, THC is illegal, but CBD is legal, and you can actually lately get CBD drinks. They're getting kind of popular, and CBD products are getting popular. And you can even get hemp beer. Like Japan has a lot of hemp, and you can buy hemp beer and stuff like that. So there is this weird sort of paradox that taima in the form that they use for hemp. It has always been reasonably okay, but lately there's been like a new hysteria against it all. So I feel like it's cracking down on that. But it is funny. You go to America, where like Aaron pointed out, I was getting annoyed at weed coming through my air ventilation in winter.
Yeah.
Where I was living, it was everywhere. And you come back here, and somebody finds 0.02 grams, and they dismiss the champion American football team, and it's kind of unthinkable.
That's crazy. Yeah.
But yeah.
It's ridiculous, but that's Japan. So just so you know, I always tell people, do not fuck with drugs in Japan.
Do not recommend it. And what qualifies as a drug here? I mean, of course, marijuana. Yeah, bear in mind you'll be treated like Pablo Escobar if you have weed here. But even Adderall isn't legal in Japan. It contains amphetamines in it, which means it's regulated in Japan the same as meth.
And there are stories of other foreigners coming to Japan with prescription drugs.
Yeah.
and being arrested because they're illegal in Japan. So be very careful about bringing anything into Japan. That's not,
ADHD prescriptions are the real danger
yeah,
one. Yeah, and
yeah.
you gotta have a long, big ass doctor's note and prescription. Don't change the containers. Don't do anything like that, and they might take it off you. But that's your only shot, is if you've got a huge doctor's note and everything's in the original containers and everything. But yeah, that's a real risk here.
Yeah, be careful.
Yeah.
That being said, I will tell you, about 2 years ago, I got Roxyson. I took Roxysonin for the first time.
Oh yeah.
So Roxysonin is Japan's, I don't know, Tylenol. What would we equate that with?
I don't know. It's a painkiller or something, right? I think I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a painkiller. It's a very common painkiller. You can get it from a pharmacy,
Yeah.
but you can't buy it without a pharmacist in the building.
Okay.
But it's not. But it's still over the counter. But
Yeah.
there has to be a pharmacist. You just can't buy it off the shelf. Okay.
Right.
Anyway, I was about to teach a class and I had a horrible migraine, and my coworker, another teacher, said, "Take one of these."
Yeah.
And and it was, I remember it was winter, and she gave it to me. No, I'm sorry, it was summer. It was summer, completely
Yeah.
different. It was summer. She gave it to me, and my migraine went away completely, and my whole body became cool.
Yeah.
As in, even though everybody was sweating, I was
Oh,
like,
like
oh my God,
Fonzie
I feel
cool.
great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Physically cool.
Yeah.
And I said, look, touch my hands. And she's like, yeah, you're so cold. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. But it only happened that the first time I took it.
Yeah.
After
And then
that,
you had to take 2 and then 3, and then you had to
yeah,
sell yourself on street corners and
no, I mean, I occasionally take it. I occasionally take it for a bit of pain, but it never worked as well as it did the first time. The first time
yeah.
was like a miracle.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I was so good that I looked it up to make sure it wasn't dangerous. Because like, this was so fucking good. It's
yeah.
got to be dangerous. But no, it's like fine.
I felt like that after they gave me fentanyl for
Oh yeah, they gave you fentanyl.
it was awesome. It was like
That's amazing.
I specifically asked them not to give it to me, and they still gave it to me. Yeah, when I told them at the end
Wait
that
a minute, what was that for? That wasn't for
that
your shoulder.
no, that was for something else. When I was in America, I had to get a biopsy for
Oh,
my leg.
that's right. I
Yeah,
remember now. Sorry, we
false
talked about
alarm
that.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
but
Sorry about that.
yeah, no, that was awesome. But yeah, and they gave me for my kidney stones. They gave me a whole
Oh, that's what it
thing
was.
of oxycodone. And oxycodone, is the thing that is like the Purdue. That's what caused the
Oh
entire
yeah, Purdue gigs.
America.
Yeah, they made a lot of money off that. Oh,
Yeah, that's what caused the whole what do they call it? The painkiller epidemic in America.
yeah.
They gave me a thing of that opioid.
Opioid
And they
epidemic.
described it to me. They said, "Hey, well, when you take this, make sure you're in a safe place and sit down on a comfortable sofa, and you're gonna feel like you're sinking." I'm like, "Oh my god, this is like train spotting. You're describing train spotting." I did not take any of those, but yeah, drugs are
Wait,
scary,
what
man.
you didn't take them?
No, they gave me a whole bunch of them. I did not take them.
What happened to them? Where are they?
I threw them away at the end. I probably could have made some money off them, but
Yeah, you should have sold them.
I threw them away. Well, those things are dangerous, man.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
got another
don't do
question
weed.
for you.
Gateway drug.
Okay, we're gonna move on to all the drugs. Remember, drugs are bad. Don't do drugs.
Drugs are bad. Okay.
And if you do drugs, don't throw them away. That's just a waste of money. So Kishida's polls, I have not kept up with Kishida at all.
He's been pole dancing.
Yeah, Kishida's polls are I just read that in November they were the lowest ever in history, which is just last week.
That's not true. He's not as low as Yoshiro Mori or Taro
in
Aso,
his I'm saying they're the lowest he's ever
he's ever had. Yeah. He'd have to be punching babies in the face to be like in Mori territory, but yeah, he's pretty low.
Oh yeah, Mori's
he's going well. Yeah.
But why? My question for you is why? And I read something about there's some kind of unreported fund scandal that they have not even addressed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are new scandals. I mean, his cabinet's had multiple scandal resignations, including the Minister of Justice, like being arrested. I mean, which I still think he was going in an undercover operation to try to find out what's happening in the prison system. There's a movie about that, isn't there? There's oh, Stallone. But anyway, no. So he's had lots of those. And then
Escape or something.
Yeah. And then they had there's so many things, but in terms of things lately, he's been asking to counter inflation, he's been begging employers to increase everyone's wages.
Yeah.
But employers haven't been doing it, so people are getting poorer because their wages are staying the same while inflation's coming up, and everyone's getting pissed off at the government. So Kishida decided to solve the problem by giving himself a pay raise, and that caused a decline. Which my suggestion is maybe he needs to pay himself more.
Did he
But
really get a pay raise?
yeah, in fact, the government gave the entire government and civils and government workers a big pay raise, which was incredibly unpopular.
Yeah, that's great.
So yeah, I mean, just pretty much everything he does is just kind of like, I mean, half of it's not even really that badly his fault, but his government's just, the Fukushima wastewater release, just everyone knows they had to do it, but it just wasn't popular. Inflation isn't really his fault, but it's not his fault that companies aren't paying people more,
But
but he's getting the blame for it.
A couple things about that. Inflation isn't nearly as bad in Japan as it is in America.
Well, but in America, people are also getting paid more. But inflation, you're right, is insane in America.
Yeah, it's crazy. I used to buy it from American Amazon and just have it shipped over, but not anymore.
Yeah, no, that's right. I was poor when I was in America. That was brutal. I mean, everything.
You're getting paid in Japanese dollars and Japanese yen?
I was getting paid in US dollars, but a conversion of my Japanese current
like
salary. It wasn't US salary, so I had my living costs covered, so it wasn't that bad. But like, man, when I'm paying like 4,500 yen for terrible ramen, like no, I can't.
Yeah. So actually, the gym that I go to is called KJ Fitness, and they're owned by a ramen company, a big ramen chain. I forgot the name of it. I've only been to it once, but they say that their American ramen shops make tons of money because ramen is like $30.
Yeah.
In America, which is crazy because in Japan it's like $7.
Yeah, I mean, for good ramen, I mean, you can get like an average chain ramen for 900 yen, 800 yen. You get a bowl.
Yeah, that's about $7.
That's it's less than that right now, right? 150 yen. That's like bloody, $6.
Yeah.
So those guys, you can be like a regular, like 21-year-old guy who's just worked an arubaito at a ramen place for 6 months and go to America and be bloody, Jiro loves sushi, and go get rich. And that's what a lot of the kids are understanding now as well. So yeah. I mean, the food over there, that's the prices are crazy and the food isn't that good. You don't have to be that good to compete. Yeah.
But another good thing about I don't know why Kishida didn't get any credit for this, but for the first time in history, all of Japan has a minimum wage of 1,000 yen or more.
Yeah,
that's
right. So that's right, but the minimum wage in Japan is set by the prefectures, right? It's not set by the central government. Or is it set by the central government?
I don't know. I don't think so. No, they're all different. I looked it up. You can actually find a map.
Right. Every prefecture has a different one. Yeah.
And surprisingly, Tokyo is not surprisingly, Tokyo is highest, but surprisingly for me, Hokkaido was also one of the top.
Yeah.
So living in Hokkaido, you get paid more. I guess nobody wants to live there. But,
yeah.
I'm trying to find the list. I put the list somewhere.
So I don't know. Like Kishida's just basically, he's got no particular ideas or policies. He's not really. It's not that he's doing anything stand out bad. He's just overseeing. But right now, even just the other day, now there's like a whole bunch of money corruption being found in the LDP. The whole Unification Church thing, where it turned out half the LDP was getting money from the Unification Church. He didn't really do anything about it. He sort of said, "Hey, let's get that out in the open," and they look terrible. So he's just sort of taking all the flack from all of that. So I don't know. I think he's just catching all of that. But the thing is, through all of this, the biggest opposition party in Japan is only polling like 5 or 6%. So as much as he's down to like 19% support, which is the lowest ever, the opposition still can't get any traction. No one wants to vote for them. The most popular party in Japan right now is none of the above. No one, gets 41% of voter responses. They have a choice of like 10 political parties they could vote for here. Like not like America, 2 parties. They could choose from 10 parties, and 41% of people, most people say all of them suck. We don't want any of them. Go away, leave me alone. That's how most people respond. So yeah.
Yeah, and people generally don't care. But
yeah,
apathy is still a big problem here. Okay, let's see what else on the list. Okay. I have a we have a test for you. Okay.
What's up?
This is something Hiko is not prepared for, but I'm going to ask Hiko some Japanese questions
Yeah.
and see if he can explain them to him. Some of them will be very easy. Okay.
Yeah.
This is Hiko's not prepared for this at all. Okay.
Mm.
Although I did warn you that there would be we would be
It'd be pop
talking
quiz.
about different types of harassment.
Oh, harassment
Okay.
types. Okay.
Okay. So the first one I'm going to give you Japanese. Pawahara.
I guess that's power harassment, which is just bullying, basically.
Yes. Yeah. Basically, that's an easy one in the office. Okay.
Yeah.
Then we have sekuhara.
Sexual harassment. So
That's an easy one. Okay.
yeah.
Here's one I did not know, but apparently is on the list of the top 7. Genhara.
Genhara.
Hmm?
Wait a minute. Genhara?
This is Japanese, Genhara. And I'd never heard of it myself.
Gender harassment?
Yes. But what does it mean?
So is that being like policing people using LGBTQ terminology or something like that? Or is it like
No, it's making people adhere to your ideas of conservative roles that they should play. So for example, you're a woman, so you should
making the
make tea.
tea.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
That
Japanese salary
that's
women are
classical power harassment, but okay, I see. Being specifically gender roles, enforcing
Yes.
traditional gender roles. Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
So women must do this and men should do this because that's your gender. Stick to your gender. This is another one that I didn't quite understand, but I imagined incorrectly. But and anyway, it's morahara.
Morahara is moral harassment.
Yes, but even that, like, what does that mean?
Isn't that like harassing people with like your moral superiority or something like that?
That's basically no. That's what I thought too. But it's gossiping about people, excluding people from your groups.
Okay.
And scolding coworkers or people who you think are doing a shitty job, you scold them in front of everyone. But the thing I thought was interesting is like, okay, hey, we're all going out for drinks after work today, but you decide to exclude one person. That's called morahara.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but I mean, that's just like
yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's all pawahara one way or another.
Yeah. Okay. How about aruhara?
Aruhara. Alcoholic harassment, making people drink.
Yes.
Oh, I just guessed that. I've never heard of that term before, but
I'd never heard of it either. But I mean, but I know it exists. Yeah. I mean, everyone knows that people they all push you to drink.
Does that even happen anymore? I kind of feel like Japan that
it happened 30 years ago when I first came. I remember.
Definitely used to happen. Yeah,
it used to happen, but recently I think a lot of people get away with no, I don't drink. Yeah, I think you can get away with that. Okay, how about so basically. More was it aruhara is alcohol harassment. Okay.
Right.
Number 6 is matahara.
Maternity harassment.
Very good. I didn't get that one either. I was like, mata. What is mata again?
Maternity harassment. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, shaming people for wanting to take a drink, bitch, says Aaron. You should highlight that in the comment. So, and in Japan. Here's what's fucked up. This is what I was teaching a student who's a doctor who deals with a doctor for women. He's a gynecologist, and he was we were talking about paternity leave.
Yeah.
And I did a quick search, and Japan on some sites is highly rated as one of the top countries to give you the most paternity leave. Legally, they give you the most paternity leave in the world, like one of the top 5. But nobody takes it.
Yeah.
And
in fact, there was a lawsuit from that guy in MUFG, a foreign guy who sued MUFG for being denied being allowed to take paternity leave, and got fired from the company, and paternity harassment became a big lawsuit thing.
Yeah. So I was amazed I was amazed to hear that. So my student, by the way, who's a doctor in a hospital, I asked him, what would you do if one of your coworkers wanted paternity leave? And he said, on the inside, and he's a top position doctor. He goes, on the inside, I would laugh and say, "What? Are you kidding?" But of course, I would have no choice but to accept. And give him his paternity leave. But I would secretly think it was ridiculous.
Yeah. That's part of being an adult. Is you can have a rogue internal monologue, but you've got to do the right thing. So I think in a way.
Well, you
It's fun.
can't
He
blame
kind
him
of
for
admitted his
thinking
inner
that.
monologue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I
At least
mean,
he knew. At least he knows the right thing to do and does it,
yeah,
even though internally he struggles with it. It's
yes,
yeah,
yes.
because there would be not a small number of managers who wouldn't filter
Yeah,
that.
they'd be like, "Are you crazy?" Yeah.
So yeah, credit to him for that.
By the way, have you seen Zom 100?
No, what's that?
Have we talked about it? It's a anime, manga anime. It was on Netflix, but some weird thing happened, and they only got to episode 8, even though it's supposed to be 10 episodes.
Yeah,
It's about a businessman, a very young businessman. I think I told you about this. Who works for a blacklisted company, and he suddenly and he hates it. He's there for 2 or 3 years, and then one day this zombie apocalypse happens,
yeah.
and he's so happy because he doesn't have to go back to work,
Okay,
right?
I'm
But it's called
yeah.
Zom 100. It's great. You should watch it. It's funny. Yeah, there it is. That's it. That's it. But for some reason, there was some kind of production problem, and they only got up to episode 8. So we're left waiting to see what happened. But I suppose you can buy the manga and find out.
Yeah.
But it's funny, and it's quite enjoyable because he's so happy that the zombie apocalypse is happening. But inside that manga, they talk about power harassment as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, last one. I got one last one,
Last one.
and I had no idea this existed at all. I still don't quite understand it. It's called Yamehara.
Yamehara. That's
Yes.
that's where you bully someone by not letting them quit.
Yes, very good. Do you know about that?
I know about that. My boss did that to me, where he tried. I was like, "What you talking about, Willis?" But he tried it. So yeah,
Wow.
yeah. My
Yeah.
boss. I said to my boss, "I'm leaving to go join a law firm," and he said, "I deny you permission to leave the company." And I said, "What you're saying is irrelevant. I've already given my notice. I'm happy to
Mhm.
help with the transition." He's like, "No, I do not authorize you to quit the company. You do not have my permission." And I'm like, "Dude, you yourself were a law lecturer at your university, so you know that what you're saying doesn't make any sense." And we had a
Yeah.
debate like for about 10 minutes like this, where he was trying to create the impression that he needed to authorize me quitting. And you know what? There's a lot of cases in Japan where bosses do that to their employees.
Yeah.
We can't
For
lose a person right now, and they give in, they cave, the workers stay. So yeah, that happens.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm impressed. You got all of them except which one did you not get?
I
Gen Hara, you didn't quite
Jinhar I didn't
understand.
get. That's right. Yeah.
But
Well,
the other ones, oh, Morihara also you didn't quite understand. What that. I
yeah,
didn't. But I, to
I
be fair, I didn't get half of these either.
I'm an expert at harassing people. What can I
Yes.
say? I have a checklist. I try to go through all of them.
So that's kind of sad that someone actually wrote a whole article on all the types of harassment you can
Yeah.
meet in Japan. But anyway, hey, thanks for having me on again.
Yo, thank you for joining. And I know we promised that we do this once a month, and we then immediately proceeded to not do that. But
Yeah,
this
but
is
I
easy
can.
to do, and it's fun. And I do like this
Yeah,
format as well.
yeah. I just put a little effort into it, and it was. We almost finished on time. We're only 4 minutes over.
Yeah, well, which is I think how it normally goes. I think this feels
We're
right.
usually
So
a lot more over, and a lot more discombobulated. But I think we did a pretty good time.
oh,
So
I
this
think we
time,
held it together. So yeah, and look, we got like tons of people watching. How many people we got watching right now? I think I just saw a number before, like 40 people or something. It was a ridiculous number anyway for a live count. So yeah, no, thanks everybody
and
for
thanks
keeping us
especially
company.
for Erin.
Yes.
She's our police officer here.
Our expert moderator, our riot squad, our SWAT team, pretty
Okay.
much everything.
Okay.
So yeah, and thank you everybody. So we're gonna do this again, right? We got to get back in the routine if you're okay.
Yes.
Jumping in once
Yes.
a month.
Yes. I'll talk to Hiko after this. I'll talk to Hiko soon, and we'll figure out our January schedule.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But definitely nice to check in. And yeah, everybody, whenever I meet anybody, including the Red Value and his lovely wife, like the first thing everyone says to me is, "When are you just streaming in with Victor? We want Victor." It's like people come up and meet me, and it's like, "Yeah, you're good, but I wanted to talk to Victor." So yeah, it's always
Too kind. Too kind.
it's
Okay.
always nice to get the gang back together, and
And
we
I
can do
do
this more.
apologize for not making any videos at all. But I got my
You,
kids tomorrow, and
yeah,
we're gonna they. Oh yeah, before this lesson, they heard me talking about of doing a live show. And
Yeah.
Yoko's like, "Oh, you're gonna talk to Hiko? That's nice. That's a long, long time to see." And the kid's like, "What's a live show? Is he gonna sing? Is he gonna sing like uta? You know, or you know that?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "No, we're not gonna sing." She was, "I want to do a live show, so maybe we'll do a live show tomorrow with my
YouTubers of the
kids."
future. Make sure they don't turn into Johnny Somalis. That's all. Just raise them
Yes.
right.
Yes. No, little
No
Victor
John Boy.
loves hikakin,
Well, that's normal
and he
actually for
can't
kids.
believe I met him. That I met him many years
We
ago.
met Hikakin
Yes,
when
yes,
Hikakin was like
was
not even
nobody.
that big. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of funny to think the people that we met at some of those YouTube meetups and you know we were bigger than them at the time.
Which
It's
was the
ridiculous.
first thing on this list, actually. Someone asked me about it. When are we going to do another YouTube meetup? And you know what? I don't care if it's a small meetup. We should do one.
We should
It
absolutely
could
do
just
one,
be you and
especially.
me, and anybody else who wants to come can come.
Yeah, 2.5 Oyajis live. Hell, I go down to Nagoya. Although yeah, it's always nice when you come up here. But yeah, we should do
Well,
something like
hey,
that.
I need an excuse to get out of this city, you know. And then I love Tokyo. Tokyo's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I'm from New York City, so for me, Tokyo's, Japan's New York.
maybe that can be the January. I mean, I think for the live stream, this format's good for the live stream. But yeah, maybe there's something to do. Come up here and we
We'll
do a
talk about it. But at the end of January, my schedule opens up quite a bit. So
okay. Well, we should do we should do
yeah,
that. You
maybe I
know,
can get up
especially
there. Yeah,
yeah before the next Rona arrives here. So yeah,
yeah. I hope so.
cool. Well, okay, well, good as always. I'm gonna
We could
hang
just
about
troll.
for a sec.
We could do a live show on the subway. Asking people what they think about Hiroshima.
Yeah, we can like go into restaurants and say, you know, Nagasaki, Hiroshima to people and wear masks and go into
And see what
construction
happens.
sites.
Yeah. Yeah.
Try to interview the workers. That should be fun.
We should get some
Uh,
lawyers lined up before that, though. All right. Thanks
they
for
won't do us
everyone
any good.
for joining us tonight. I
Yeah,
appreciate it. Had a great
thank
time.
you. See you all next week. Boom.
Talk to you
Same
guys later.
time for 2.5 for Tokyo tonight, and then same
Yes.
time sometime next month for 2.5 Oyajis. So see you all later.
Yes.
Boom.
Good night, guys.
Peace. I'm gonna end the stream. See ya. End the stream.